But remember, there is no obligation, and the information kit is absolutely free. So please, call now. Call 1-800-652-4545. That's 1-800-652-4545.
Now your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Powerful storms continue to pepper parts of the Great Lakes region in Pennsylvania at this hour. Jim marking those latest severe weather statements. He'll have that info for you. And we've got potentially damaging winds and heavy rain in some areas. Hello, I'm Bob Stokes. We welcome you to this edition of Weather Center.
And I'm Jim Cantor, and I apologize for having my head down through most of that, Bob. I did want to get these out. Lake County, northeast Illinois, so that's the north side of Chicago. Wind gusts near 62 miles an hour actually recorded in Woodstock, which is actually southern that's McHenry County in southern Wisconsin. So that's with that line coming towards Chicago and Milwaukee.
Okay, these outflow boundaries, that's a damaging wind right there.
That is a damaging wind, and now they've actually issued marine warnings for all the lakefront from Milwaukee to Chicago as a result of these. And I'm telling you, if you have a small boat, 62, you're over.
Right.
I mean, no doubt about it. Let's talk about these storms here a little bit. As we mentioned, pretty good pulsing here as this line kind of developed rapidly. It's pretty small, but small can be powerful, as you know. And this whole area really under the gun today. And Bob and I were just taking a look at the instability parameters across Ohio back into Nebraska. And some of these numbers are just like 4 or 5 times what they normally could be in a severe weather episode. It's just incredible instability just sitting here south of this front, and all these old thunderstorm boundaries are just ready to pop up at any time. As a matter of fact, this one is the one that moved through Minnesota and Iowa last night and this morning, and you can see it pulsing up again here east of Rockford. Now, I want to show you the Doppler radar. I mean, this thing really gives you an idea where this stuff is now. Here's Lake County, here's the McHenry County area, and you can see how this storm pulsed up right here. Look at that, boom. Right there. That's where we got the 62 mile an hour wind gust. And this whole line here could easily produce 40 to 50 mile per hour winds. So if you have a boat anywhere south of Milwaukee or north of Chicago, you may want to bring it on in and just wait till this stuff blows on through, as we do have warnings out all the way up and down the lakefront as we speak. All right, back to the maps. And again, this is the area I just showed you on Doppler radar. Obviously a lot more detail with the Doppler. You can see that individual storm that produced the 62 mile an hour wind gust. Then as we move east, we get a break for now. I want to make that very clear for now. In Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio, this area is just getting heated by the sun, and all sorts of instability popping up there. Huge thunderstorm cluster developing off of Lake Huron, and that Lake Superior, or Lake Huron. That continues to move on off to the southeast. So Toronto, Buffalo, Erie, Pennsylvania, keep an eye on this thing as it moves across the lake in the next couple of hours. So right now, things are moving east. Detroit, you're in the clear. Fort Wayne, Cleveland, no problems. But we are keeping an eye out for that new cluster coming in, which really hasn't made it into the radar site yet. You can just see the eastern edge of it, but it looks like it's going to come in just south of Buffalo here in the next hour or so. Storms holding together here south of Scranton. Warnings out here around Carbon County as they continue to move toward the southeast. And there is the chance this could hold together and in some way, shape, or form affect New York City. Maybe some rain, maybe a clap of thunder, but certainly we'll have to keep our eyes on it. Very moist southeasterly flow coming in here. Showers and storms beneficial here around Houston, back through Cameron Parish in Louisiana. And we've actually had funnel clouds sighted earlier at Cameron Parish. Storms over Lake Okeechobee, so fishermen, boaters, beware there. On over through Fort Myers, kind of messing up everybody's afternoon tea times. Sorry about that, but they'll be moving through, and you'll be able to get that game in. Just get to wait a little while. Interstate 10 looks pretty good until you get to Mobile, west over the bridge. Then you get some lighter rain kind of straggling there around Pascagoula and Gulfport. More showers and storms pulsing up north of Lake Pontchartrain, south of Alexandria, and these just continue all the way over north and west of Houston, so some good news there. And finally, we expect more showers and storms in the west today. Some of these very heavy rain and lots of lightning. Bob.
Thanks a lot, Chief. Jim, no one wishes for severe storms, but some of you could use some rain to cool off as most of the nation continues to sizzle. Case in point, the south-central part of the country, and in fact, even in the mid-Atlantic region. We've got it all on our national picture here and our national numbers. We've got 96 in Dallas. All too often, you've seen it this high, this early in the day. 94 in the nation's capital with a 93-degree reading in North Carolina, around Raleigh-Durham. Urban heat advisories in effect for Philadelphia, extreme heat advisories because temperatures could flirt with the 100s in the mid-Atlantic region. We're talking Washington, D.C. on up into Philadelphia before the day is done. Could get very close to it, especially it could feel that way in the heart of the city. But this continues to be a dangerous heat. This continues to be a heat where you've got to just check on the pets, check on the elderly, just really not a good idea to leave those pets in the car when you go in the store. Just not a good idea to do that. Still a dangerous situation here, and especially when you factor in the high dew points, the high relative humidities, it's still in the dangerous category. Dallas, 104, you know, is how it feels outside, but the actual air temperature, if it makes it to 100 degrees or higher again today, and it's very likely that it will, that would be the 16th day in a row for Dallas. Still dangerous. Even in these areas where even in this time of the year, you don't often feel indices this high. It feels like 97 in Washington, D.C., 94 in Boston and New York. This is why you need to check on those who may not have air conditioning because they don't get that hot that often. So that's why it's especially important to check on the elderly in the megalopolis, Boston down to Washington, D.C. But one reason why it's so hot is all the sunshine coming through, a lack of cloud cover right here. And plus, we've got a very dry ground. In fact, extreme to severe drought in these areas of red in the south and parts of the Midwest. So still a dangerous situation, still not a good situation for the farmers. There's a look at our temperature changes. It's actually warmed up 15 degrees in Boston compared to this time yesterday. However, there's a front right here that's coming through, bringing some cooler temperatures across the northern plains. 21 degrees cooler in the western part of South Dakota. There's the front right there. But here's that continuing push of hot air across the Ohio Valley. So today, more 100s in the south. There's that cool air coming down. But look at this. New York, Washington, D.C., and look at these 100s right here. All in the 90s and even some 100s right there in portions of North Carolina and Virginia. And tomorrow, look at this. Around Philadelphia in the 100s. Extreme heat advisories remain in effect for Philadelphia tomorrow. Because ahead of this front, we've got that warm, hot air. But here's that relief. For many of you this evening, some rain. Here comes the front moving slowly, affecting your morning commute. Say in Detroit, with more hot weather in New York City. Could see some significant rainfall, though, in the lower Great Lakes. And it's going to be another hot one as we go into this afternoon. 100s over parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, and it's going to be a muggy one tonight, even some 80s for lows across parts of the Mid-Atlantic region.
But if you can hang in there over the weekend, we're looking good.
Okay, well, be patient, I guess. We'll have Travel-Wise coming up.
Bounty's at its best. It's the quilted quicker picker-upper. Bounty is quicker. It gets what this other towel left behind. Ordinary towels tear on carpets, even top-quality towels, but Bounty's stronger, more durable.
The quilted quicker picker-upper.
Quilted Bounty.
Mary, we got another notice today that our Medicare supplement...
Feel good about yourself.
With Centrum, you benefit from what science is discovering about how vitamins and minerals
Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most side effects were mild or moderate. Most people weren't bothered by them enough to stop taking Zyrtec. To learn more, look for our ad in Life magazine or ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Now your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Hey, good evening. Bill Keneally here alongside Jim Cantore. More unrelenting heat across the Dallas area. Pictures to prove it. And again, Jim, the other news is we broke the heat. I saw a minute ago one of the airports in Detroit, Michigan was 99 degrees. My gut feeling is that's not going to last much longer.
No, that squall line's moving through. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, there's probably going to be wind damage all across the south side of Detroit. We've had wind damage in Oakland County already. Ann Arbor's gusted to 75. I mean, that's tremendous wind.
And we have some other cells there, by the way, down west of Washington, D.C. on Interstate 81. What did we get, an 82 mile per hour gust?
Jefferson County,
Yeah.
West Virginia. So we'll show you those cells as well. A lot of severe tonight, and it's just amazing. These storms tapping into winds around 6,000 feet and bringing them on down, forcing them down as well. So instead of 50 knots, you wind up with 70 knots, and just incredible gusts here. So we are looking obviously at this area for strong to severe thunderstorms, and this area again widened. Keep an eye out in D.C. There's no reason, in Baltimore as well, there's no reason why some of those storms won't move south and also cause some problems for you. This cell south of Scotts Bluff, also in southern Laramie County in Wyoming here, we have severe thunderstorm warnings out here. These have the potential to grow into supercells, so we may see some tornadoes eventually, but so far none spotted. You can see that area blowing up there, easterly wind at the surface, obviously westerly wind aloft. We have that shear profile set up, or that change in wind direction with height. Other than that, we're really fine until we get into southern Michigan. This is the same complex that went this morning in South Dakota. It has moved all the way across Wisconsin and also into Michigan. There's been damage, as a matter of fact, back through Racine and even west of there. Actually, the line really blew up just east of Madison. and that's where they got hammered. Until 9 o'clock, you can see the watch that we have out for you, and of course that does include the Detroit metropolitan area. Storms pushing on through the leading edge of these storms, all the way from Pontiac southward, producing 60 to 75 mile per hour winds, potentially. And we are getting reports of damage in. There's going to be a lot of reports of damage here, unfortunately. We get a break from that. I mean, look at this complex. This thing is starting to grow pretty huge, and there's no reason why it should weaken either as it moves to the east. The air is not as unstable over northeastern Ohio, but still, Cleveland, Toledo, southwestern Ontario, keep an eye on these storms. And obviously, any mariner here on Lake Erie, you have got to pay particular attention. If you've got a small craft, it's history. If you're in that thing, you're history. Here's this next complex that Bill and I were talking about. We had tremendous amounts of damage. Even Bedford County, PA, came in with 70 mile per hour winds. This is racing off to the southeast at 50 miles an hour. And now we have, what do we have here? Eastern and central southern, yeah, central Maryland. Thanks, Bill. Southern Montgomery County and central Maryland with a severe thunderstorm warning. These storms, again, moving southeast at about 40 miles an hour. And a couple of complexes. Number one, look at this stuff explode just west of Philly. Boom, big storms here. This whole thing is almost starting to become one line now. And even southwest of Baltimore, you can see the western edge of this line. As a matter of fact, I just put this new radar in here. I want to show you that gets a better angle at both of these lines. Here's the one at Philly, all the way down west of Baltimore now. Keep an eye on these storms. They have had a history of 70, even 82 mile per hour winds around Martinsburg, West Virginia. As they continue to push on to the southeast, it looks like they'll stay together and affect Baltimore and Washington as well. Deep tropical flow coming in from Texas and the Gulf. Hopefully this will provide some relief as we go through the next couple of days. Unfortunately, though, as that front comes down to the north and we get this deep tropical flow, there's going to be a tremendous setup for some very heavy rain. And we talked about that on the weekly planner a little bit. In the meantime, waves of heavy rain continue to roll on in. Here's the latest one. The one earlier on today is up near Tampa now. But here we go, from West Palm Beach down through the Keys. Just a tremendous amount of rain. Here's the one over toward Tampa. Showers and storms just kind of scattered about as we take you throughout the southeast. And in the southwest, Clark County, Vegas, 0.4 of an inch in 30 minutes. Needless to say, flash flooding a possibility from San Diego County all the way through the Four Corners. Bill.
All right, Jim, thanks a lot. Well, storms are definitely getting your attention in some parts of the nation. Heat is the story that is affecting just about all of America. In the Dallas area, case in point, you guys were out there looking for shade again today, and I can't blame you. A high of 101. That heat becoming a way of life in the Big D. And that is, I think, something, ridiculous. 16 days in a row now. These guys have the right idea. You want to ward off that high July sun out there. Definitely put the high SPF factored sunscreen on. Let's check out these numbers, read them, and I guess sweat. 102 around Dodge City, 99 in the Dallas area. So we're ratcheting down from that high of 101, which, by the way, was not a record. Corpus Christi, however, on the water did have a record at 98. 95 in Raleigh, 94 in the Washington area, 94 in Washington with a dew point of 70. That is why these storms are holding together. It is warm. It is very unstable. Earlier, no sign of any of those cumulonimbus type of clouds. I see a little cirrus cloud cover action out there. Hopefully these folks were out there watching the skies, as now the heavens are starting to open up on the northwestern side of the district. So if you are traveling tonight anywhere, I'd say west of about Connecticut Avenue, beware heading out towards Bethesda and up around Silver Spring and west of there. Feels like 100 here. 108 in the St. Louis area. This is how it feels. 106 in Little Rock. Anybody, safe to say, anybody south of that frontal complex feeling rather lousy these days, and I can't blame you. Outside of some cloud cover and a little bit of rainfall, there's not a whole lot out there of hope. Definitely heed some of the advice, wear lightweight, light color clothing, and use that high SPF sunscreen. Jim?
The triple-digit temps taking a toll not only on humans but also on wildlife as well. The Weather Channel's Jill Brown looks at the impact the drought is having on the fish in the state of Texas.
Our first fish, that first big fish.
Summer and fishing seem to go hand in hand, but as the heat builds, you may find it more difficult to reel in that big one in smaller ponds and lakes. That's because as the water heats up, oxygen is depleted and fish die.
Later on in August, probably we'll start seeing some fish kills due to oxygen depletion in a lot of smaller bodies of water.
Here's one way to make sure fish are getting enough oxygen. The owner of this fishing hole agitates the water, enabling it to supply oxygen to keep fish alive. A fountain or sprinkler would provide the same benefit to your small pond. I'm Jill Brown, the Weather Channel.
All right, let's check out our forecast very quickly. More of the same in the Washington area, and for that matter, the entire northeastern corridor. This front is going to labor its way across the lower lakes, eventually drier air coming in. So hang in there. The Twin Cities look great tomorrow. Chicago, kind of a cleaning house day tomorrow. Detroit, same holds true. But you guys should reap the benefit of Canadian high pressure come about Thursday. In the meantime, watch the heaviest of rain, Jim, out there in the lower lakes. And as you mentioned, yet another volley coming into southeastern Florida.
Indeed, and again, very, very heavy rain with that. Watch out for the severe tonight, D.C. on westward.
Are you concerned about losing more hair? Do you wonder how much further it will go? Do you wish you could do something about it?
Batch as well.